Hi, my name is Laura Kohler, and I'm a member of the Climate Working Group at Circular Church. I'd like to talk to you today about the basics of composting. So, where does your food waste go? If it goes into the landfill, that means it undergoes something called anaerobic decomposition. Anaerobic means without oxygen. There's no oxygen in landfills because they're so densely packed. The microorganisms that do the anaerobic decomposition create mostly a methane and carbon dioxide mix of greenhouse gases, and this is a major contributor of climate change. If your food scraps go into the compost bin, they undergo aerobic decomposition, and aerobic means with oxygen. This produces compost. Compost can help with soil regeneration, which reduces the need for synthetic fertilizers, and it can help with water retention. Composting is really simple. All you have to do is mix 2 to 3 parts browns, which are carbon-rich materials such as shredded newspaper and paper, dead leaves, hay, stuff like that, with 1 part greens, nitrogen-rich materials such as fruit and vegetable scraps, bread and grains, coffee filters and coffee grounds, or fresh yard waste. You don't want to add meat, dairy, or cooking oil to your home compost bin. Home piles don't get hot enough to kill these pathogens, and they can also attract pests. You also don't want to compost yard material that has been treated with pesticides. It can kill the beneficial organisms. You also want to turn your pile once a week or so to let oxygen get into the middle, and you can bury your food scraps in the browns to discourage pests. Troubleshooting compost is pretty easy. If it's too wet, you add browns. If it's too dry, you add greens, or you can water it. Bugs are a good sign. That means you've got a healthy pile. There are lots of different kinds of compost bins. The most basic kind of composting is trench composting. Literally dig a hole, bury your food scraps. Another kind of composting is lasagna gardening or sheet composting. This is where you layer your browns, so your newspaper and your cardboard, with your greens, your food scraps, and your yard waste, and you build layers, and then you let it sit and rot for several months, and then you can plant a garden directly on top of it once it's decomposed enough. I'm going to include how-to links with this video. Another option that's really good if you live in an apartment is having a worm bin. Worms are really efficient at turning food scraps into worm castings, which is a really beneficial fertilizer. Worms don't like hot weather or cold weather, so if you do have a worm bin, you're going to want to keep it inside and have some worm pets. Tumblers are a really popular option. I have the black tumbler from my family of 4. You can also make your own tumbler out of a trash can if you drill holes to let that oxygen in. And then when you need to turn it, you just bungee cord the top on and roll it around your yard. If you're handy, you can build yourself a 2 or 3 bin pallet system. And that's nice because in order to turn your pile, you just shovel it from one bin into the next. Here in the Low Country, we have a pay-to-compost subscription service called Compost Now. It's not available everywhere yet. Bees Ferry Compost Facility does not currently have a residential program, but it does work with area restaurants. This is definitely an area of growth for the Low Country's environmentalism. So that's it. Please check out the how-to links that were included with this video, and if you have any questions, please reach out.